Well, if you're a weekend warrior, you might deal with the common aches and pains. It's really not any fun, Mary.
No.
Not any fun at all.
So could you imagine being in pain for years? You'd probably try any reasonable measure to get rid of it. For our next guest, the solution wasn't an invasive one.
Well, you're talking about Darlynn Myers, and she's here, a patient of Dr. Drew Drummond's of the Spinal Balance Health Center. Good morning to both of you this morning.
Good morning. Here.
Darlynn, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Describe the symptoms. What were you experiencing?
I had a lot of pain that would come up my shoulder and up the back of my head, you know, up, and sometimes I would end up with a headache, but mainly it was just this excruciating pain, and nothing would get rid of it. And it was really interesting because a lot of people offered different ideas of what might have been causing it. You know, I can't tell you how many pillows I went through, you know, different ways to sleep. I stopped using my ceiling fan with the cold air. Maybe that was doing it. I always thought it was my computer at work, and so we got ergonomically correct, and it never went away.
Wow.
Never went away.
How much sleep did you lose? When you talk about, because for me, I love sleep. And if you can't sleep, it's miserable.
It is miserable, and you're tossing and turning, and it's just a constant pain and tightness here, you know?
So what happened then? You heard about Spinal Balance Health Center.
I was watching the morning blast.
Stop it.
Stop.
You're watching the show?
And here you are,
And here
telling
I
your
am.
story.
And the lady that was on was talking about, I think she was the one that had the lower back pain all the time, and Dr. Drummond went on, and he talked about what he was doing, and then you said that there'd be a telephone number to call for that. I had my phone.
Darlynn, you're a hoot.
And
So
I
you were
was
waiting?
waiting. I was just waiting.
So you called right when we gave you the phone number.
Yes, I
You get a
did.
hold of Dr. Drew Drummond's crew over
Yes.
there. And then you set up an appointment. You go see him. What happens from there?
Do you get to talk? Or
You're doing a great job.
You do a great job.
You are so cute.
you know, he took these X-rays that I've never had taken before, and he showed me them, and one of them was my head was tilted to the left. I'm like, I didn't know that. And he stood me right in front of this mirror, and there I was with my head tilted to the left.
And you didn't realize, you weren't doing that intentionally.
No, it was just natural that way.
You're
It was
asking, when does he get a talk?
Yeah.
So let's talk about this whole
Okay.
idea of NUCCA care, because we start this conversation, Dr. Drummond, by saying what worked for her was not an invasive procedure. It's not surgery what you do.
No.
Describe it.
Yeah. NUCCA is a procedure of realigning the top of the neck to get the nervous system functioning better. And people will have neck pain, they'll have low back pain, they'll have the muscle tension in the shoulders, and we think that's really where the problem starts, but that's really just a symptom of an underlying problem with the nervous system. There are nerves at the top of the neck that control the body's posture. And when the posture is imbalanced, we won't distribute the forces of gravity evenly throughout the framework, and instead we'll start compensating for being off balance, and it's all those compensations that ended up hurting people over time. So when somebody like Darlynn comes in, we see if there's an upper cervical misalignment, which is probably like 80 to 90% of the people that come in. And if there is, we correct it, get the nerves that control the posture functioning better, and then the body straightens out, and then all that stress starts relieving, and the body just starts healing and maintaining itself the way it should. The problem wasn't anything that was really going on with the shoulders and the neck. It was just those areas were compensating for a different problem.
Yeah, and we've been talking to you about NUCCA care. We learn more about this every time we speak with you. You've been coming on for years. But the thing that I find is fascinating, a person could have an accident decades ago and then still have pain later on in life from this. How does that work?
Most people, and Darlynn was no different, it's usually something 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It can even go back to birth trauma, because once the atlas is misaligned, it doesn't, unless you have another accident or injury that would re-misalign it differently, or you have somebody correct it, it just stays in that locked position, constantly causing the nervous system to put you into a locked, imbalanced posture, and then you just start wearing out over time. And the discs and the spine, this is tough stuff, and it takes sometimes years before finally pain will show up.
Was there an accident? Do you believe that was the catalyst?
Probably. I've been in 2 automobile accidents and had whiplash, you know, and over time, it's probably that was just misaligned.
Yeah. So when we straighten the body out, I don't know, how long did it take for you to start feeling better?
Oh my gosh, after the first treatment, it was like 50% better.
Right.
It was immediate.
Where are you at right now, percentage-wise? Are you 100%?
Oh, this is gone.
It's gone completely?
This is gone.
How long did it take you to get to 100%?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 weeks.
Probably. And her low back,
Probably.
the different things
Oh,
heal
yeah.
differently. So while the neck is now, 100%, she's still got some tension in her back because that problem actually probably existed longer. The low back takes more stress than the neck does. So, but eventually we would expect that to get the same way.
She says her head,
Oh, yeah.
after she saw the x-rays, then she noticed that she was walking around like this.
Yeah.
But you see that where the body, and we even have images that show,
Yeah.
like you kind of get out of
Yeah, I don't know
whack.
if we've got time to look at it. Do we have time?
sure do,
Sure.
If
Yeah.
you look at the right side, that's normal. Normally, the nervous system at the top of the neck should regulate the back muscles so that they pull evenly on the framework, and you'll see mirror images from right to left side on that right figure. But on the left, what you'll see is one side of the back is tighter than the other, and it's causing the shoulder and the hip to pull closer together on the right-hand side. And if you've got a big enough screen at home, you can see that there's a short right leg because of it. You have to adapt to that short right leg. You cannot just fall over. So it's no different than if you're carrying a heavy bucket of water or something in one hand. You're not going to let it pull you over. You're going to shift your weight, and you live with that shift for decades. And the areas that are compensating, mainly neck and low back, they wear out.
How many people out there may have a misalignment and just don't realize, just don't notice any symptoms?
If I go out to the public, I was out in one of the local health, can I say names of places? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hy-Vee Health Food Market. It's a great health food market. And I was doing a free posture screening. And all morning I was there and I saw 2 people that were balanced. Everybody else had some degree of misalignment.
I can see that.
Are you spreading the word about how gentle this is, Darlynn? What do you say to friends and family?
Oh, absolutely. My one sister here in Omaha had the exact, well, I say the exact same problem. Anyways, the pain here, and she went immediately and has gotten relief, and I've told friends who have back spasms and all of that to just at least go try it. If you get relief, it's well worth it.
And the phone number that you were waiting for that day, Dr. Drummond has brought us that special offer.
How many people have their
again
phones
today.
in their hands right now?
Yeah,
like Darlynn did?
pick them up.
Just waiting. Well, it's a terrific value that you can have those x-rays, which are probably different for you too than, like Darlynn said, anything she'd ever had done before. And it's a lot of math and science, and Dr. Drummond understands it, and that's the only point. The first 15 people who call in and take advantage of this offer, you get that whole bundle for just $50. So the number is 452-3400. He's a local doctor. This is a local center, and you can learn more about it online at spinalbalancehc.com.
I think the only NUCCA care provider in Omaha, right?
There's 2 clinics.
There's 2 clinics.
We have 3 doctors in our clinic, which is the largest. We're the largest and oldest in Nebraska right now.
Doing a lot of good, Dr. Drummond.
Doctor, thanks a lot.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
And
you.
Darlynn,
Thank you.
it's nice
Darlynn,
to
good to
meet
see you.
you.
Glad you're feeling
A
better.
real pleasure.
I am great.
Like